Like many animals in Madagascar, they are threatened by habitat destruction and slash-and-burn agriculture as well as poaching. According to scientists, this is because of the indri's eating habits and their specialized habitats. The indri like changes in their environment, so moving from Madagascar to a new area and a new climate, let alone trying to get there, is a recipe for disaster. The longest indigenous mechanism before dying is number 7, armadillo. Coming in at 4 inches long, the shell is vastly different from armadillos. Armadillo would be easy to catch and keep in captivity, no problem. But in fact, in captivity, few survive very long. Some died just trying to get from native country around the world. The longest reported stay of this armadillo in the zoo is 9 months, less than 3 years. The reason for this is that biologists have realized that the behavior of armadillo is actually an animal that faces stress quite often, especially when it comes to their environment. So there's no doubt that capturing one moving across the world has the which, as we all should know by now, can kill you. Which is the same for most deep-sea fish. So even if you could catch one, you would have to keep it within a container that exerts the same pressure they are used to, and then transfer it into an aquarium with similar pressures. We still haven't been able to replicate that, and a lot of fish would probably die before we were able to do this safely. Number 2, the blue whale. One of the biggest factors in determining what animals go into a zoo or aquarium is the question of size. And to that end, animals like the blue whale will never end up in a zoo or aquarium because they're just too big, just like other kinds of whales. Many people argue that orcas are too big to be kept in captivity as well. Even though they are, it doesn't mean it's a good idea. So how big is the blue whale? Well, the blue whale is in fact the biggest animal to have ever existed on Earth. Think about it. Out of the entire history of the planet, we have the privilege to live alongside the biggest animal ever. It can reach over 100 feet long, with some reports saying that they can reach 110 to 120 feet at max length. And in terms of weight, they weigh over 200 tons at times. That's a lot of girth for one animal. To put that into context for you, their tongues alone would be heavier than an elephant, which can weigh over 10,000 pounds. Their young can be around 8,000 pounds at birth, which goes to show that they are born into their size and only get bigger from there. So for a zoo or aquarium, having a blue whale in their facility would not only be impractical, it would be impossibly expensive. After all, these whales are comfortable swimming in the vast oceans. So to suddenly go from that big wide space to something cramped like an aquarium pen would be cruel. Just think of the sparrow. This is the argument for many large animals as well. Zoos want happy, healthy animals, and more they are moving towards education and conservation as well as making a profit. Having a gigantic sea animal in an aquarium would be practically impossible. Ironically, food wouldn't really be an issue here since they eat krill, but the rest? Just not worth it for anyone. Number 1. The great white shark. One of the most legendary animals on Earth today, you'd think zoos and aquariums would be doing all that they could to get a great white shark in within their tanks. Especially since other sharks are part of various sea exhibits all over the world, even whale sharks, which are pretty big. But the fact of the matter is, the great white shark is one of the few animals on Earth that can literally not be contained, in the same line as the blue whale. How so? Well, it's a bit of a mystery, but what we do know is that a great white shark actually knows when it's in captivity, and because of that, when it's contained, it dies. Several zoos and aquariums have tried. In fact, the record as it stands right now for a great white shark living in captivity within a zoo is 16 days. That's it. And that record stood for some time until zoos and aquariums tried to get a little more creative in how they got their great whites. They tried raising one from birth, and it lasted 6 months before dying. They also captured a female great white and got it to last about 4 months, but then she died. The species needs to be in open waters. They travel miles and miles from coast to deep sea, and there is no way captivity can replicate this. The one that died in 16 days was at SeaWorld, and it was documented as not having eaten much while it was there, and it kept hitting itself against the glass. Here's another factor though. The great white shark is an apex predator in the oceans. Therefore, it hunts for its own food, and it eats a pretty wide variety. If it were an aquarium and given a set diet, that's not good for a shark like this. It needs to feel that it's at the top of the food chain, and it simply can't do that in a zoo. To learn more, be sure to check out my video on why there is no great white in an aquarium. But even if you could get beyond all that, sharks are protected species, so getting one and building an adequate environment would take hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, for something that would still put the animal at risk. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite animal you've seen at a zoo or a biopark? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you soon!